so the users know that, okay, what happened to that device that they are using. Some of the feedback might be the haptic. For example, on your smartphone right now, if you just like press some buttons, whether it's a virtual button on the screen or whether it's a physical buttons, that the phone might be vibrating, so that you know that, okay, this one, okay, the phone acknowledge for a specific button you press. Apart from haptic or the vibration, it might shows in terms of sound for example, if you press something wrong, it might just show the error or for example, you can see that when you just like go to 7-Eleven right now, okay, instead of having the staff to scan the temperature of the customer, it's changed already, because they will have just like the what to say, the thermometer with the screen in front of 7-Eleven. The things that you have to do is that you just like put your palm, okay, nearby the sensor, and then they just like measure the temperature of yours, so that once you hear the beep sound, and then there will be the red light blinking to let you know that right now the measurement is finished already. Or when you go to some of the shopping center where they have just like the camera to capture the temperature of the customers, once you have to stand in front of the camera, if it doesn't provide the feedback, you will never know how long do you have to stand. But if it shows the green light, that means, okay, first one, they show you for two reasons. The first one, the checking is finished, scanning is finished. Second one, green light shows you that, okay, your temperature is okay, it's not exceeding their limits. So this is the feedback that our user interface should provide to the users. Compare with some system. If you click on a button and the system is quiet, that kind of system is not good at all, because you don't know what's going on, whether the computer is freezing, the system is freezing, or whether it accepts our value already. So that means when you design any user interface, you should let the users to see the feedback from the system too. After that, guideline number 7, create an attractive layout and design. This is aesthetic design. You should just, right now it's just not white screen and then you have just like gray button for the users to click. No, not any longer. You should just like make the layout to be attractive. The design is should be attractive too. And apart from that one, number 7, let me just like talk about a bit more for attractive layout and design. It should be standardized too. So that means for the whole system, you should use the same standard. In this one, I can tell you that, okay, for the easy word that I can explain is that you should have the theme. And for the whole system, they should use the same theme in order to have the layout and design of the buttons and on the screen, and also the movement from one screen to another screen. The transition should be the same theme. And the last one, number 8, use familiar terms and images. Terms and images here, you should standardize them too. The words or the terms that you use on each page, you should use the same term. For example, log in and log on, sign up and register. You can see that sometimes you can see some system, they just like use like similar terms, but they are different. For example, if you say that, okay, please log into the system, while on another page, they say that click here to go back to the sign in page. You can see that sometimes when, for us, we know that they are the same meaning. But for the users, they may think that I can't see the sign in screen, I see just the login screen or the login page. So that's why the terms that you have to use should be familiar and should be standardized. images is as well some of the systems นะครับ they try to use some buttons นะครับ with a specific image or a specific icons but the icons that they use นะครับ the developers may know that what it means but the users may not know so that's why when you have to design the image or the icon นะครับ for each button for the users it should be the familiar one นะครับ if you can't do it or if you think that you can't think of any familiar picture you may just like have some icons that you think that is the standard นะครับ for your field and after that you may just like have a short description the short description might be on the button itself or it might be just like the bubble when the customer hover the mouse pointer over the button it shows the explanation นะครับ or the caption for that button นะครับ this is for use familiar terms and images นะครับ so when you can follow these 8 basic guidelines already นะครับ the next one when we talk about the user interface as I told you earlier นะครับ it's a combination of many things the good user interface design is based on combination of ergonomics นะครับ aesthetics and interface technology ergonomics is like when you design for just like the angle of the user's seat นะครับ along with the height of the table angle of the screen นะครับ if we are talking about like the devices like barcode scanner it must be in the position that the user of barcode scanner normally that they are cashier okay easy for them in order to use and it's just like correct to the ergonomic design so for example some of the shops they install the barcode scanner under the table นะครับ but they have the glass top so when the customer purchase something the cashier has to put the stuff under the table and then scan to the barcode that is the wrong ergonomic design because when they have to bend their back it may cause a backache or office syndrome as well นะครับ so that's why you have to design this kind of interface to match with the ergonomic as well and apart from that you can see that for the cashier you can see that none of the cashier has a chair นะครับ normally they have to stand up so that means the height of the screen and the table that they use in order to get the product from the customer to scan must be matched with the ergonomic design as well the height นะครับ and the angles นะครับ next is aesthetics like the beauty of your design screen or something and the interface technology that people can use touch screen can use keyboard or mouse นะครับ or scanner depends on what you would like to have นะครับ the next one when we talk about the design a transparent interface นะครับ this one we facilitate the system design objective rather than calling attention to the interface นะครับ try to create design that is easy to learn and to remember because next time when your users have to use your system once again they remember what button they have to click or to press นะครับ design the interface to improve user efficiency and productivity นะครับ and also you have to write commands นะครับ actions and system response that are consistent and predictable นะครับ so that when the users see this kind of message or response นะครับ they know what to do นะครับ and also they can predict that okay what will happen if they click this button นะครับ it must be anticipated นะครับ the next one we talk about the interface นะครับ that is easy to learn and easy to use นะครับ so that means all the buttons นะครับ all the things that you have นะครับ all the icons that you have must be clearly labeled นะครับ so controls buttons and icon must be clearly labeled and select only the images that users can understand easily that I told you earlier and provide on-screen instructions that are logical, concise, and clear นะครับ why do you have to do that some of you may think that, okay, when users use the system, they'll be familiarized with the system. You shouldn't just like give them lots of explanation นะครับ for the on-screen instruction, because some of you may think that because we set up or we conduct the training for the users already, why do we need to have this? The reason is because not the only users that you train them will use the system. In the future, if there are job rotations, or if there are like some new staff coming in and you don't train them anymore, how can they use the system? So that's why the system must be easy enough to learn and to use นะครับ and also all the commands, if possible, show all of them in a list of menu items as well. Somebody prefer to have a shortcut. For example, we know that, okay, when we just like press Ctrl S, it means save. But for the users, they may not know. That's why, apart from buttons that you have on the screen, you should provide all the commands in the list of menu items that users can click on the menu and then just like choose save as well. So that's why you can see that if you go to Microsoft Office software, they are easy to use because you can use shortcut for the expert users like Ctrl S, Ctrl A, นะครับ Ctrl C, Ctrl X. And for the users who are just like quite familiar with this software, they can just click on the icons นะครับ to save, to cut, copy and paste. Or for the users who are brand new and they don't understand these buttons, they can go to menu file, menu edit to cut, copy, save, or select all, something like that. นะครับ so that's why you should prepare the list of menu items for the users as well. And try to make it easy to navigate. That means you should group the similar functions together นะครับ you might set them up in the same menu, something like that. So same as like the Microsoft Windows or in Mac, when you just like use the menu of the software, normally they group like many of them for you already. So if you would like to add some more, try to think whether they should be grouped in the same group as like what standard Windows or Macs prepare for us already or not นะครับ so that will make like users for easy to navigate นะครับ after that, when we talk about another guideline, that is user productivity นะครับ try to organize tasks, commands, and function in groups that resemble actual business operation. This one นะครับ we talk about like the information systems that serve like different group of users in the organization. You should let the users นะครับ who have to use like these functions นะครับ group them together, organize them together, so that they can just like once they have to use your information system, they click on this menu and then they can just like do all the tasks that they want to have in one menu นะครับ and then you have sub menus that what to say, answer their questions, that what they want to do นะครับ and also create alphabetical menu lists นะครับ so I don't tell you that, okay, you have to sort them นะครับ the menu may not be sorted ครับ most of the time the menu actually, after you group them already, so you just like you may start from the most frequently used first นะครับ and then group the rest of them นะครับ so that when the users use, it will be easy for them to find the menu. So this one reflect to your design in the later version as well. If you design the software, the information system in version 1, version 2, version 3, the menu should be similar นะครับ you shouldn't shuffle the order of menu because otherwise user will be confused. So let's imagine if you have to use a software version 1.0 นะครับ in year 2020 นะครับ in quarter 4. After that, in quarter 1 of 2021, the company said that, okay, you have to upgrade the software นะครับ because you pay for the maintenance fee already we have the newer version, you have to upgrade. Once you upgrade, all the menu is shuffled around and you can't find it. So it wastes your time and you will just like become headache because of those menu. So that's why you have to just like think of the future as well. If you have to design the next version of your software, the menu that you group already, if you group very well already, then the next version you should just like use the same standard. You may add on some more menu or some more sub menus, but they are on the same standard as the previous version that you did. Yes, Napat, shuffle menu to throw the supervisors. Yeah, something like that. Okay, next provide shortcuts. As I told you earlier that there are some expert users or experienced users. They may not want to go to menu, sub menu, and sub menus, because like for example for us, if we just like go to use some editors for write a code of the programs, we just like usually use a shortcut. We rarely use the menu to click. It wastes the time. So you have to just like provide a choice for the expert users as well. And use the default values if the majority of values in the field are the same. For example, let's talk about like the easy thing. For example, if you know that the login ID of the users you have to use email address Suppose your organization use two standard of email address. For example, in Mahidol we use like two different kind of email. One is at mahidol.ac.th. The other one we use at mahidol.edu. And if you know that normally the standard one we use at mahidol.ac.th. In the website or the portal site that you have to let the users to download or to just like go to access that page, you should say that the default one is, and then you have a text box. Let me just write down for you. And you have the text box like this, and at the back you just write down that it is at assign as a standard, because we know already that normally the standard users use this email address then you just use this one as the standard and if you may have the question like, how about the people who use at mahidol.edu, what are we going to do? You may just like have an option to have a link that underneath this you may say that, or log in by using different email, and you just provide them as a link underneath, so that when the users have to just like log in, they know immediately that if their user ID is not at mahidol.ac.th, how can they just like log in into the system something like this. The next one after we just like talk about the enhancing of user productivity already, what makes this one if we just like have a box at mahidol.ac.th, what makes the users to enhance their productivity? You can see that just this box, it makes the user to just enter the system quicker. Instead of entering the full email address, they just like type their username only and then just click login. It takes less time because they don't need to enter or type assign mahidol.ac.th. So that's why it can enhance the user productivity as well. The next thing that we have to know is that when we design the user interface, try to make it easy for users to obtain helps or correct errors. This one is to ensure that the help is always available. So it means that when you go to good software you must have the help. Doesn't matter whether the help is online help, like on the web-based ones, or it is just like the help that you have in that software directly นะครับ if the system is large enough and then when the users have been using this system it is on the internet นะครับ because some of the system users say that I don't want it to be on the internet, I want it as a web base, so I want you to design it on the intranet. So that means if you design the help session นะครับ or the help topics นะครับ or on the help page is on the internet, once user click it will cause the error because this system doesn't connect to the internet. So you have to be careful, check first whether the system the users can also just like go to the internet or not นะครับ so make it easy for user to obtain help or correct errors, ensure the help is always available and provide user selected help and context sensitive help. So that means นะครับ sometimes user may just like click on help and then they search นะครับ for like some topic or for some questions that they want to know นะครับ that is user selected help. And context sensitive help means that if users just like get some problem, for example if they click log in and it shows the error box should show a button that okay click help or cancel. Once user click help, it just like go to find the information for the help when user log in wrongly, something like that, instead of going to this page. Okay, have a look on this page นะครับ on the screen it shows the main help topics นะครับ now we are talking about in this example it is like the student registration system. So once user enter or log in wrongly and it shows the error นะครับ you should bring them to the help to fix the error of login. Don't go to the main help topic like this because user will have to spend their time to find okay where should be the button to help fixing that problem นะครับ you shouldn't show this one for them. If there is an error exists, you should just like pop up the help for fixing that error straight away. That is context sensitive help นะครับ the next one, after you just like try to just like provide the help or correct the errors for the users already นะครับ in order to minimize input data problems นะครับ apart from just like using some technologies that I told you, for example instead of typing numbers you just use the barcode scanners or use some other devices or gadgets in order to help entering the data นะครับ if the users still have to use keyboards นะครับ or mouse นะครับ in order to enter the data you should create input mask นะครับ to help them. For example นะครับ for example okay let's see the example of the entering the data is like this. This is an example of the mask, input mask. Suppose this one, you say that, okay, you want the users to enter their credit card number. Firstly, once you say that, okay, your credit card number, okay, and then you put this one, okay. I think you may have seen this kind of thing before. We call it as the input masking. Once user enter some number, suppose they say that, okay, like this. Once they enter a digit นะครับ it replace 1x away. And also the users know that how many digits are there they have to enter นะครับ in this case it's 16, right? And also they have the max of dash to separate between group of numbers. Why? The reason is because if you don't have dash you can see that in here if you type 46998,420, okay, when you type more and more digits it is quite difficult for users already that how many digits that they type in here. Okay, if there are like different numbers like this there's no problem, but if they put like this right now they waste the time to count number of zeros that they enter. So that's why you should have the mask in order to let the users know that, okay, how many items or how many digits that they have to enter, and yeah, how many groups do they have, something like that. This is what we call input mask นะครับ display event driven messages and reminders นะครับ so that means when users enter something or enter some data already, okay, you should have some message to show when the users just like do something already. Is it correct or is it wrong? For example, when the users enter all 16 digits already, the credit card normally they have like the hash function to check whether the data that you enter is correct or not. You should give the feedback to the users that, okay, the credit card number that you enter is wrong, okay, something like that. Or something like your citizen ID card, the citizen ID นะครับ normally they have the hash functions to check as well. If the users enter wrong numbers นะครับ you just like help them to just like show that, okay, your entered information is wrong, something like that. But some of you say that, hey, but we don't want users to just like try on every numbers. Sometimes you don't show the error on like the wrong credit card numbers or wrong citizen ID นะครับ they may let users to enter everything first and click submit, and if it's wrong it shows that, okay, your ID is wrong. Otherwise, if you check once the last digit of the credit card is entered or the last digit of citizen ID is entered, user will just like try on the next. Sometimes I mean, like, it is not the real users, but it might be the hackers. They may try like every single ID as they can. That's why some of the user interface designer just let the users to finish every single field first, and once they click submit, it just show the error นะครับ and sometimes if you show the error for every field that users enter, it might be annoying. So some user interface designer, they just like decide that, okay, once the user finish their last field and click on one button, then it shows the error of every field that might happen on the page. But the problems or the errors that happen, once you show the error message, it should be the error message on that screen only. Don't just like let users to go to the next screen and let them go back to the previous screen because you just show the problem. No, you should let them finish and fix the problem before you allow them to move on to the next page. The next one, establish a list of predefined values that users can click to select. Sometimes นะครับ I mean some of the values นะครับ you provide them with the possible values that they can choose. For example, month นะครับ day of that month, date of that month นะครับ you should provide them by having a list of the drop down list, or you may have the calendar for them to choose from นะครับ but for the list of predefined values here, like the credit card number here, you must not provide the predefined values. Let the users to type by themselves, because some of the confidential data, the user, because we want to prove whether the users just like do something wrong intentionally, or they do something wrong because they really or accidentally press some buttons. You have to let them type by themselves, like user ID, student ID. Normally for the ID, any kind of ID, we don't give the hint to the users นะครับ let them do by themselves. At most, you can tell them that how many digits that they have to put นะครับ for the credit cards, you may have a parenthesis and say that enter 16 digits of your credit card number, because sometimes when you talk about credit card numbers, users may not know that, okay, where is my credit card number that I have to write down? Is it the value in the back of the card, or is it just like the some of the card, they also have like many sets of numbers. So that's why you have to just let them know that, okay, this is the 16 digit numbers that you have to enter. And after that, build in the rules that enforce data integrity. For example, The credit card ID is like the hash functions that you have to check นะครับ if you have to let the users to enter the time must be valid นะครับ for data integrity. For example, if the users enter 25 15 hours, something like that, it's wrong. You need to just like have the check as well that okay, that field is a time. The time that the users can enter might be like in 12-hour format or 24 hours format only. Even the users enter 1320, it should be okay, because that means the users might choose like 24 hours format นะครับ and then you check in the system by yourself that okay, if the user enter the value more than 12, that means the users is entering the 24-hour format of the time instead. So you have to build rules นะครับ to enforce the data integrity for the users. After that นะครับ